It's the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast after the Giants lost to the Dolphins today as expected. Of course, the podcast brought to you by the good folks at Bet Rivers. Remember, download the Bet Rivers app. Faster experience, exclusive promotions, one app while traveling, all the things. And remember, you get extra value this football season with the Bet Rivers Squares. Win up to $10,000 in bonus money by just placing a $10 bet in the same game parlays on any of the games where the Squares icon is in the corner. So check it out. It's there on all the NFL games. And for as little as $10, you could win $10,000 in bonus money. Now, I don't think there were too many fans anywhere. Even the most loyal and ardent and crazy and just delirious Giant fan would not expect them to go down and beat the Dolphins today or to be able to handle the Dolphins today, and obviously they couldn't. Now, the Giants did win the turnover battle. And when you win the turnover battle 3-0 in the NFL, you not only win the game 90% of the time, but the Giants lost by 15 points, did not score an offensive touchdown on a day where they got 3 turnovers in the game. The Dolphins were exceedingly sloppy. I didn't think Tua played well. He had trouble with some of the Giants' looks on defense. I think a couple of them surprised them. But the bottom line is, you know what? The Giants aren't in any way capable of dealing with this Miami attack, which is on a pace right now to set records. I mean, to be better even than the greatest show on turf that the Rams were. I don't think this is as deadly an offense as that one was, and it's got to prove it can win like that one did. But the bottom line is this is as wild an offense as we've seen in a while. It's unpredictable. It does it on the ground as well as in the air, and it does it with just speed on speed on speed. Obviously, with Hill now having Achane with him, having another player with that kind of just incredible breakaway speed, they do it in so many different ways. This game, if not for the turnovers, and the turnovers were more on the Dolphins than they were on the Giants, I don't want to not credit a player for getting a 100-plus yard interception return, which was the first score the Giants got in the whole season in the first half. It's a pick 6 for over 100 yards. It tells you all you need to know about the offense. But this game was not even remotely close. Forget the final score, 31-16. It doesn't tell the story at all. Dolphins took their foot off the gas, number one. Number two, if they hadn't turned the ball over, this game would have been 40-3 or worse in the third quarter, because the Giants got points off turnovers. They got a pick 6 right before the half. Instead of it being 21-3 or worse than 21-3 going into the half, it was 17-10. They came back and kicked that late field goal after the pick 6, but they were in the game because of the turnovers. The bottom line is this was not a competitive football game in any way. And when you give up plays like they did in the game, I mean, it's embarrassing. I understand they're quick, okay? I understand that they are explosive. But when you see plays for 20, 30, 40, 50, 75 yards, I mean, enough already. It's embarrassing. It really is. Now, the Dolphins can make you look bad. I understand that. They're very fast. They turn a little play into a big play. They turn a little crease into a huge gain. I do understand that. I mean, but some of these numbers today for their players are just unbelievable. I mean, Achane had 11 rushes for 151 yards. Most of it was 10 for 65, and that's a calm day. Hill has 8 catches for 181 yards. That's 22 a pop. I mean, big play after big play after big play. And again, the offense just couldn't get in the end zone, couldn't make a big play. And finally, you knew this scene was coming. Daniel Jones leaving the field, being accompanied by trainers and doctors, because it had to happen. He's been getting hit so many times. It had to happen. He got hit a ton today. He got sacked 6 times. Taylor got sacked 1 more, so that's 7. Jones left the game with a neck injury. We don't know the status yet. I didn't even wait today to see Dable in the postgame because I didn't need him to tell me anything. I didn't need him to tell me anything about this game. I don't want to hear that they did anything good. I don't want to hear that they got the ball to a while late in the game. Who cares? I don't care that they got a couple of turnovers. Who cares? They're not competitive in any way. They're not competitive on the offensive line. They're not competitive on defense. They can't tackle. I understand the Dolphins can make you look bad, but Giants have been missing tackles all year. This game, they took their foot off the gas. They had 524 yards, the Dolphins did. They had 222 yards rushing. And they were coasting late. They had 340 yards at the half. I mean, that's like an old Nebraska-Kansas State game. I mean, that's how embarrassing this was. And again, the offense can't do anything right. And the offensive line has become just a absolutely complete source of embarrassment for the Giants. Complete. Think about how many draft picks, how much money, how many resources the Giants have put into that offensive line to be nowhere with that line right now. I understand they've had injuries, but you know what? Everybody has injuries in the NFL. There are teams who have been in without 3 and 4 starters on the offensive line and haven't caved in like the Giants have. You can only take these excuses so far. And the Giants, everything they did last year, everything they accomplished last year as they surprised us with the big come-from-behind victories, with superb coaching, with, really aggressive play calling on defense in their blitz packages and the way they structured their defenses, coming from behind against good teams time and time again to steal games. The bottom line is all of that has been erased by a 1-4 start, and all that's waiting ahead now is the Bills off a loss on Sunday night in Buffalo. So the Giants are 1-4 going on 1-5. We don't know the status of their quarterback going into the game next Sunday night. And that's where they are going to be in a division where two teams are at the top of the conference, not just at the top of the division, and will definitely be anywhere from 11 to 13 game winners this year. And that's Dallas and Philly. So the Giants season is almost over, and we have not even hit the middle of October. You can take a year and consolidate off the good strides they made last year. But every bit of good currency, and let's be honest, Dable got treated like a king here last year, and he deserved it. He did a wonderful job. I've said that time and time and time again. But everything he gained, all the popularity, all the positive stuff, all the goodwill, the commercials, everything that went with it, you know what? That is all now down the drain. He has given back every bit of that this season. Because, yes, they have had problems, and yes, they have had injuries, and yes, they are hurting in some areas, but the bottom line is this is not a product that anybody can want to put their name on. That's how bad this is. This is a disgraceful display week in and week out by this team. And you know what? I don't want to hear that today was a step in the right direction because, somebody moved the ball late, or the fact that, Waller caught a couple of balls late in the game. Who cares? I mean, that means absolutely nothing. Nothing. None of that means anything. It's about winning games. It's about being competitive. And the Giants have been anything but. They have not scored an offensive touchdown in the first half this year. And this game, 31-16, Giants almost got a late cover. Almost. He didn't get the fourth down. If he did, he might have gotten a late touchdown and kicked it in for a late backdoor cover. The bottom line, that didn't happen. They lose by 15. But this game wasn't a 31-15 game or a 31-16 game. This game was as one-sided as a game could be. The Dolphins could move the ball at will. And the Giants could not protect their quarterback and could not get the ball in the end zone again. And now their quarterback's hurt. Their running back's hurt. Some of their offensive linemen are hurt. The rest of them stink. They have missed tackles time and time and time and time and time again this year. The product they are putting forth is awful. And they have completely erased any goodwill or any strides they made last year. This year is over for all intents and purposes. Hey, they have a lot of football games to play. They got a lot of players to look at. I understand all that. But this year, from any standpoint, it'll be 1-5 next week, and there's a whole bunch more losses coming. And this thing is over, and nobody expected this season to be over in early October. And not only that, they have gone back to the same kind of issues, the same kind of problems that they had under the other regimes. So everything that you felt about Dable that was positive has been shaken now. I don't care if you're his most ardent supporter. It has been shaken now. Because they have not shown a glimpse of that this year. They have not shown an iota of that this year. The things they had last year, the things they did last year, the improvement Daniel Jones showed last year, cutting down on mistakes, the things they made strides with, and the things they were productive with, second half rallies, this and that. The bottom line is none of that is there this year. Absolutely zero. They are as bad as any team this side of Carolina, which is breaking in a first-year quarterback and doing it with not a lot of talent around them. So Carolina continues to lose and lose pretty much decidedly week in and week out. Other than them, the Bears already have a win. And you know what? They're bad. The Giants are just as bad. And they're at the bottom of the league right now. And you know what? Right now, there's not anything good you can say about this team or this organization. That's the bottom line. It's 1-4 and about to get worse. We'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.